Hello friends, welcome or welcome back to Maribel Soleil. I have a recipe video for you. It's beginner friendly, super easy. It's DIY ginger candies and I'm going to compare it to these chimes that I really like and I find at like TJ Maxx and Marshall's all the time, and I was inspired by this video that I just showed you. And I went to the grocery store and I found this big old chunky piece of ginger. It looks so deformed, but it smells so good. I really love ginger. And besides making your breath smell good, it also has a lot of health benefits, which I put up on the screen. And here's a list of the ingredients, super simple. It's also going to be in the description box below. And this is something new I've never tried before. It's called glutinous rice flour. So I'm kind of excited to use this for other random recipes that are super easy, because I've had some complete horror stories when it comes to baking and cooking and just anything. But, you know, you got to be a little easy on yourself, because when you're learning a new skill, there may be some mistakes along the way, but that's how you eventually learn how to be the best and improve. So I uploaded an ASMR version of this video because why not? And I just really like the visual aspect of it. And I don't cook super often, and I just want to include that in my video because it's so easy. You save a lot of money and it's just a skill. You know, it's a calming type of experience, and it's something I want to definitely get better at. This is something I haven't done in a while. This kind of reminds me of when I would make some salads and I would just kind of, what's it called, grate it. Because this is like a single-handed grater. And salads are pretty easy to make, kind of like peanut butter sandwiches or cereal. You just like throw it in and it's simple. I wish I could just eat this like this, but I know it wouldn't be a good idea. Kind of looks like a potato or an apple. So as I was trying out this recipe, I was pretty much improvising with some of the tools that I used. I ended up using a knife and also breaking apart the ginger. And with cooking, it's like you're always really thinking about what the end product is going to look like. I have a tendency to burn items. Like, I've literally burned popcorn before. I think one of my first uploads was how to make popcorn for the first time. And that was like legit my first time putting in like the seeds and doing it on the stove, but I've literally burned it in the microwave of all places. But hey, it happens, right? The grating part definitely took some strength, and it's literally an arm workout, so I ended up sitting down to save some time. We are making progress here. Patience is a virtue. So why did I decide to try making ginger candy? Not because it's helped me with nausea in the past or digestion. I just think it tastes good. And it looks good. I've always had a sweet tooth, and when I was a kid, when I did celebrate Halloween, you know I was looking forward to that holiday. I'm Christian, and for my own personal reasons, I don't celebrate it anymore. But unrelated, I also used to always buy these giant Hershey bars, cookies and cream. It was like the size of my head as a kid. I eventually learned how to be a little healthier and eat these sweets in moderation. And it's all about feeling good in the end, and you have to start that at a young age. So now I made some progress with grating a lot of this ginger, and my arm was definitely feeling the workout, the burn. And in the inspiration video that I found, she was kind of using a spoon to try to take out some of the juice. But I did leave the ginger out one day, and I think it was a little too dry, so I figured that I would try a different method, which I Googled. A coffee filter works. A cheesecloth that I've never used in my life also works. I assume that's like a muslin cloth. Maybe I'm pronouncing that wrong. Or like a cotton round. But I wet a paper towel and it worked like a charm. Also, did I say cotton round? I meant a cotton fabric, like a t-shirt. Please don't use a cotton round to filter this thing. I don't want to give you guys trust issues. Besides that, the color came out very beautiful and was very satisfying to squeeze out the liquid. And I think it was just the perfect thing to use, honestly. Even though before I began starting this whole cooking DIY thing, in my head it felt like a chore, but as I began to do it, I had fun and I enjoyed the process because I was looking forward to the outcome and what I envisioned. So stay tuned for the end, even though I already gave you a little sneak peek in the beginning. Cooking, like many things, is a marathon, not a race. It is a journey, and the destination may turn out really bad or really good. Or maybe, you know what I mean. So in the inspiration video, I noticed she used a lot less of the ginger juice, and I kind of went ham. I'm like, you know what? I want it as strong as possible. And I did research other recipes online, but the simplicity of that video, I'm like, you know what? I also feel like ginger is one of those things that is good for detoxing, but cautious because, you know, you got to consult with the medical provider if you're taking medications and stuff because it might counteract it. Don't quote me. I'm not a medical professional, but you know what I mean. There's something extra special about honey and maple syrup. I think it's the color. Yeah, it's like an amber color. Big fan. Big fan. So I believe this glutinous rice flour, which is a kind of wild card for me because I've never used it before, so excited about it. It adds that chewy consistency, and an alternative is tapioca flour. And here's some satisfying ASMR visuals. So I turned on the stove to low to medium heat. I had the honey, the sugar, and the ginger juice mixed in, and I was stirring for about 15 minutes until it started to simmer, and then I gradually put in the rice flour. If you're liking the video so far, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I'm a small YouTuber, so the early support really counts. Thank you guys who are already subbed. And thank you to my returning viewers. I know you might be curious. Good vibes here. We learn a lot and we laugh and all the above. And so here in this clip, as I typed out, it just was a little too soupy for my liking, so I added a little bit more sugar and a little bit more of that rice flour, and it pretty much did the trick. But it did take about 20 minutes for it to simmer a little bit more until it became the texture that I liked. So I was stirring as much as I could. I gave myself maybe a couple minutes in between. My hand got tired, but overall I think it was a large improvement, and I'm glad I added that additional little step. Look at that texture. I also improvised and tried to get rid of the clumps with the rice flour, so I just spooned a little on the side and just pressed the spoon against it. And of course, I kept stirring. I was actually surprised I didn't burn anything, and it was pretty easy to make. I also kept cleaning as I go, so I cleaned the stove a bit and of course my working area. You could use a cutting board, but I wasn't really going to use a knife, so I just wiped it down right after. We're getting closer to the moment of truth. So I just laid out some parchment paper and just pouring out that mixture. So after pouring out as much of the mixture as I can, I tried to shape it into somewhat of a rectangle. But yeah, the rectangle wasn't going to happen. I just settled on whatever shape it decided to take at that point. And it kind of looks like wax to me. And I feel like this recipe tweaked would make a pretty good soft caramel chew. So then I put it in the fridge, parchment paper alone, for about 15 minutes, and I just tested it out. It was surprisingly pretty firm. And it was pretty soft and pliable. I'm pretty proud of myself, actually. Look at that shine. Looks so delicious, doesn't it? So in the reference video, I saw that she used cornstarch to separate the candy and cut it. So that's what I'm just doing here. Actually, I believe cornstarch helps with the stickiness aspect. It just kind of prevents it from sticking together. But the day after, it did kind of clump together at room temperature, so I think leaving it in the fridge might be best. I don't know why I struggled with cutting this on my first attempt. It was a bit tough when I just clamped the scissor all the way down. Just cutting halfway was a lot easier. Just a random tip. Look at how amazing that looks. So satisfying and powdery. Looks like a winter wonderland. As you can see here, it's already looking pretty good and it tasted really good. Except for the fact that it was super, super strong ginger, but I really liked it. So that depends on your preference. Adding a little less ginger might do the trick. So the dark brown sugar really gives it that color that you see there, like a dark ambery maple syrup looking color. And just kind of to mention earlier, the yellow color of the ginger was very beautiful. I wasn't really expecting that. I thought it would be more of like a pale beige for whatever reason, but kind of makes sense. This first attempt at candy was a success, and it wasn't complicated, and I am very proud of myself. I'm gonna pat myself on the back. So to store the candies, I just used an empty candy box that I had that had a seal on top. And I almost forgot to add one. That's all set. Now I wanted to compare my DIY attempt to my favorite candy, the Chimes Ginger Chews. And right off the bat, the color is lighter. So it's like a light ambery color. And then mine's is darker. And it looks like there's probably cornstarch on it too. And as for the taste, mine's had a stronger ginger taste. Mine's was definitely more stretchier. And I think the Chimes also tasted delicious, but I just preferred mine. It just had that homemade taste to it. But altogether, this was really fun trying out and making, and it was pretty simple. It did take some time and a little bit of effort, but again, the outcome was great. I actually liked both of the colors. One, the Chimes was lighter, mine's was darker, so the different types of sugar was used, but both are great. Please like, comment, subscribe, let me know if you tried it, and thanks for watching. Bye guys, be blessed.